My name is Bob, and what I've been through I won't wish on even my worst enemy. I faced betrayal. My wife Charlotte is a beautiful and very smart woman. I always trusted her, and it seemed to me that this was my love for life. How deeply I was mistaken. I will tell you how it all happened and how I took revenge on my unfaithful wife and came out victorious. It was exciting. Enjoy watching. I've always been a trusting, unassuming guy, and my wife Charlotte had an independent streak that I admired. And we caught that spark. She was my engine, and I trusted her completely. Unfortunately, my whole world in pink glasses collapsed when I discovered emails in my wife's laptop a couple of weeks ago. These were not just letters from friends or colleagues. They were intimate and very frank messages with photos attached to them. I read them all, and the very first letter was received when my wife and I celebrated 2 years of our marriage together, and we have been together for 5 years. It was a shock, akin to buying a new car and realizing that premium oil has been leaking from it since the second day. Charlotte and I discussed starting a family, but this revelation threw me into an emotional stupor. This discovery made me pay attention to strange absences, unusual phone calls, and the persistent smell of cologne, which was definitely not mine. Charlotte went to the gym, had hen parties, and did manicures, but suspicions about her marital fidelity crept in. At first I thought it was a mistake. It can't be. But if I'm already on the trail, then I need to go all the way. Disappointed, I decided to investigate and hired a private investigator. The discovery was disastrous. Charlotte had a relationship with not one, but 2 other men, one of whom was a gym lover, and the other was a manager at a large donut chain. I felt a mixture of anger toward Charlotte and disbelief that these 2 affairs on the side were spontaneous. She clearly did not mind, and this upset me the most. After all, if she was being chased by some guys and she turned them down, then it wouldn't have lasted for 3 years. It just simply doesn't make sense. Then Charlotte detonated a bomb, saying she was expecting a baby, and all I could think about was the uncertainty of fatherhood. It was like being handed a winning lottery ticket only to realize that it had expired. Divorce was inevitable, but I needed answers about impending fatherhood. Revenge brewed within me, and I contemplated various scenarios, from confronting the 2 men to winning back Charlotte's affection and dropping her later. However, I wanted a peaceful life after the storm. I decided on a measured, calculated revenge, turning the situation against the 2 men who were infatuated with Charlotte. I planned to set them up, making them suspicious and ensuring my own freedom from the anger, betrayal, and constant urge to check Charlotte's phone. In essence, I considered going full Ocean's 11, manipulating their infatuation to serve my purposes. The goal was to achieve revenge in a way that ultimately allowed me to move forward and build a peaceful life, free from the constant reminders of betrayal. Manipulating emotions, planting doubts with fake emails, and insinuating texts. It's a cleaner, legal, and just as devastating method as a physical confrontation. Divorce, once a spine-chilling term, has become my guiding North Star, leading me to sanity. Though I'm not eager for the process, it's a necessary hurdle. I have a reliable lawyer, a clear objective, and, crucially, the truth on my side. With this support, I'll navigate through. The bigger question looms about the baby. Is it mine, or am I potentially caring for someone else's child? The answer will shape my future. I've arranged for the test, and all that's left is to wait. Regardless of the outcome, I'm determined to carve out a peaceful life, perhaps rediscovering my guitar or working on that novel I always spoke of. When the dust settles, I might dip my toes into the dating world again. For now, there's a revenge plot to unfold, a divorcee to finalize, and a paternity test to nervously await. It's a messy situation, but they say calm follows the storm, and I'm prepared to weather it. In the first update, a few days have passed since my elaborate plan took shape. With a new digital identity, I connected with my wife's gym enthusiast boyfriend, posing as a fitness newbie seeking advice. Slowly introducing photos of Charlotte and the donut guy, I expressed faux sympathy, suggesting it's a shame for her to be with someone like him. The ball started rolling, and I guided the gym rat to the scene of Charlotte's alleged betrayal. Creating an anonymous tip-off with precision, I orchestrated the chaos. Sitting in my car, I recorded the spectacle as Gym Rat confronted Charlotte and the donut guy. The atmosphere became tense, reaching a breaking point. The Gym Rat charged, but the donut guy, surprisingly agile, sidestepped and delivered a punch that sent the Gym Rat staggering. The donut guy, though lacking a Greek god physique, exuded confidence, dodging further attacks like a seasoned boxer. In the midst of airborne donuts and the shocked reactions of onlookers, the donut guy, against all expectations, managed to bring down the Gym Rat with a decisive blow, sending him sprawling across the linoleum. Sweat glistened on the victorious donut guy's face as he stood there, breathing heavily, while the Gym Rat struggled on the floor. It felt like a real-life Jerry Springer episode with the ripped Gym Rat, the donut guy, and my wife caught in the middle. Caught off guard, my wife's face turned pale, her mouth agape, and then her eyes met mine. Charlotte's gaze was empty, her face ghostly white. She stammered and sobbed, pleading in the middle of Dunkin' Donuts, a scene almost as embarrassing as the day I discovered those incriminating emails. Although I maintained composure, my insides were in turmoil. I want a DNA test and a divorce, I calmly declared, my voice steady. If it's my child, I want full custody. The look on her face was almost satisfying. She was cornered and helpless. Her sobs grew louder as the two men stared at her in disbelief, obviously wondering who I was. Then, I posed a question. I wonder how these guys found out about each other, and walked away, laughing. It played out almost cinematically as she stared after me, tears staining her cheeks and her world crumbling around her. When she eventually returned home, she was a wreck, her voice barely a whisper.
How did you know?
She asked. Disappointment, sour and bitter, overwhelmed me. I didn't say anything. Words weren't needed. Instead, I went into our room, took a pillow and a blanket, and threw them at her feet. The door clicked shut behind me, locking up my past and hopefully opening the way to a better future. It was just the beginning, but I knew I'd been through the worst. After all, every storm leads to clear skies, and I was ready to step into the sunlight. The weeks following the donut shop fiasco were a whirlwind of legal paperwork, tearful confrontations, and a very revealing paternity test. The paternity of the child was confirmed, and it marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in my life. It turned out that the baby wasn't mine. It belonged to the donut guy, the unexpected winner in this complicated love triangle. Charlotte, perhaps attracted by her candied Romeo's newfound confidence, began dating him, perhaps in a desperate attempt to find stability among the rubble. Surprisingly, the divorce process with Charlotte went smoothly. She did not dispute it and did not ask for anything, perhaps out of guilt, humility, or harsh awareness of the situation. I packed up my things and moved closer to my hometown, to a quiet suburb, within reach of the hustle and bustle of the city. My parents were delighted, and my sister's children liked that their cool uncle was around more often. It was a different, more peaceful life, but exactly what I needed. The Gym Rat, after his public humiliation, became a mystery, disappearing as if the earth had swallowed him up. Maybe he found another marriage to interfere with, or maybe the incident served as a wake-up call. Anyway, everything turned out fine. Life threw me an unexpected blow, and I dodged it, although not without bruises. It served as a lesson, reminding me of the importance of caution and wisdom. Despite the storm that swept through my life, I was grateful because it could have been much worse. Instead, I became stronger, wiser, and more determined, ready to start a new chapter and leave the storm behind for calmer and brighter days. I am relieved that I went through the chaos, dodging several bullets along the way.
How do you like the story? Write your opinion in the comments. Tell us what you would do if, God forbid, you found yourself in a similar situation. I think that a man did the right thing. You need to be able to let go and not get attached to people so much. He did not choose a cruel revenge. He did not spoil his wife's life. He showed her what the consequences could be. Now we move on to the second story. It is short, but also no less interesting.
On a Wednesday afternoon, I collected the kids from school, enduring the lengthy school pickup lines that resembled the winding paths of Disneyland. Gradually making my way to the front, I finally reached Dustin and Sarah, my 13 and 14-year-old kids, who at this age made it clear they weren't fans of public displays of affection. They had entered the stage where I served as their chauffeur, ATM, and personal food provider. Wednesdays were my responsibility due to Lisa, my wife, having her weekly project review. To my surprise, I spotted Lisa's car in the driveway, pondering if she had left something behind, given that there was no reason for her not to use the garage. After parking, the kids hurried out, raiding the refrigerator. "Hey, take it easy, you two. Save some room for dinner," I called out. Leaving my briefcase on the floor, I entered the living room to find Lisa curled up on the couch under a blanket. I inquired, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" She responded,
I don't feel well. My stomach is acting up and I'm having some issues.
Wondering about the cause, I asked, and she suggested it might be some kind of flu. I then inquired why she wasn't in bed, and she explained,
I was, but I had an accident. Could you please change the sheets?
Swiftly realizing the situation, I headed to the garage, equipped with a nose clip and latex gloves, recalling the days when the kids occasionally had accidents. Although they had outgrown such incidents, the tradition persisted, and they only climbed into our bed when feeling worse than the dog. After managing the unfortunate mishap, I ordered pizza for dinner and took a much-needed shower, spraying ample air freshener, fervently hoping not to catch whatever ailment Lisa was dealing with. A week passed involving suffering and cleanup duties, and it became clear that Lisa needed to consult our family doctor. The initial doctor visit yielded predictable answers, mentioning the possibility of flu and advising to wait. 2 weeks later, Lisa returned to the doctor due to persistent symptoms. Having lost a significant amount of weight, she avoided eating, relying on energy drinks as her primary sustenance. The doctor conducted blood tests, but nothing warranted further action. In the subsequent weeks, Lisa struggled to adapt to her situation, resorting to adult diapers and baggy clothing to conceal her discomfort. My responsibilities expanded to include grocery shopping, with online orders preferred to avoid using a list. While the children and I yearned for weekend activities, Lisa rarely felt up to joining us. Consequently, we began doing things without her, and our intimacy and personal life suffered. It was understandable. Romantic activities weren't appealing with the risk of unexpected troubles. As time passed, Lisa's condition showed no improvement, and she eventually became a recluse, working from home. The challenges extended beyond her health, affecting our family dynamics and daily routines. Continuing to work from home and rarely venturing outside, Lisa's weight continued to decline. Even when feeling sporadically better, it rarely lasted through the weekend. The children became engrossed in their sports schedules, oblivious to Lisa's absence from their games. Life unfolded as usual for years, with Dustin graduating from high school and preparing for college, while Sarah soon followed, leaving the nest after an early graduation. The day after Sarah's high school graduation, I approached Lisa, expressing the need for a conversation. Puzzled, she asked,
Okay, what's going on?
I informed her of my decision to file for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Her initial shock turned into anger as she questioned,
Did you cheat on me? How can you do this to me?
Calmly, I explained that the kids had grown up and it was time for me to move on.
How can you leave now? I never stopped loving you.
She lamented. I disclosed Dennis Wilson's name, and her eyes widened as tears streamed down.
You knew?
She asked. I clarified that it wasn't about knowing but waiting until the kids left for college, as it was more cost-effective to support her while they were at home. Lisa pleaded.
That was years ago. We've been through this. I'm sorry. I made a mistake and shouldn't have done it. Cry me a river of tears.
I responded, Right or wrong, you did it and felt no remorse. You even contacted him again once you felt better. After moving out, Lisa unexpectedly experienced an improvement in her health. Freed from the same intestinal problems, she realized that I had been the cause of her misery. We sold the house, divided the profits, and therapy became inevitable. The outcome remained the same. I preferred to take my chances on a fresh start than remain with a known cheater.
What conclusion can you draw? Write your opinion in the comments and which story you liked the most. As a support, please like and subscribe to the channel. I will be pleased. Bye.